This is a Hatha flow class focusing on back bending. Going to start in a child's pose position. So if you come onto your mat, separating your knees as wide apart as the mat or wider if you can. Bringing the toes together and then sitting down with the hips onto the heels. Just going to start to walk the hands out in front as you lower your chin or your forehead down onto the mat. And you can walk your hands back and either leaving the hands resting on the floor in front of the knees or taking the hands back round to the ankles. Just settling into the posture, just letting some tension release from around the thighs, the hips, maybe through the ankles and the shoulders. If you find that the head or the neck's uncomfortable, you could bring the hands forward and actually rest the forehead on the forearms with the arms crossed. Just try to find comfort in this forward folding, rested position. Once you find that you're comfortable in the position, you can start to quieten down your mind. Starting to bring your mind to present, letting go of any thoughts of the past or the future, and just bring the mind into the present moment. And to help you do this, you can just start to focus on your senses. Maybe starting with the sense of sound, just tuning into the sounds that you can hear. And then starting to tune into the sense of touch. Feeling the weight of the body pressing down into the ground through the shins, through the forehead or the chin. If you have the hands resting on the floor, then feeling the contact that the skin has with the ground. Become aware of the temperature of the air. And then start to become aware of the very gentle and subtle movement in the body that's caused by the breath. So you feel a rise and a falling of the rib cage. You might feel your shoulders come up closer to your ears and then move away again. And every time you exhale, just try to feel yourself sinking down deeper into the ground. Releasing tension from the joints and the muscles. Releasing tension from the mind as well. Start to gradually deepen your breath. As you draw the breath in, fill the lungs, fill the belly. And then a nice transition into a smooth, long, deep exhale. Make sure you're inhaling through the nostrils, so you're using the natural filters that are in the nose to clean the air as you draw the breath in. And then you can exhale also through the nostrils, although if you want to release some more tension, you can release the exhale out through the mouth. If you're starting to feel any discomfort through the shins or through the hips, maybe bring just a little bit of movement into the child's pose by swaying from side to side. And then come back into stillness. Keeping that deep rhythm of the breath, trying to keep your mind connected to the rhythm of the breath as well. So the focus on the breath eliminates all other thought from the mind and connects the mind to the body. Bring your hands now onto the floor just in front of the knees and just gently pressing the hands into the ground. Lift the head off the floor and turn your head to one side so you're stretching through the neck, and then turn the head to the other. Just keep that going. Try to connect the movement to your breath, so each time that you start to turn the head is the start of either the inhale or the exhale. And then you can come to rest the forehead or the chin back down on the ground. Pull the hands together behind the back, clasping the hands together. Start to pull the shoulders back as you lift the hands up towards the ceiling. Take another inhale, see if you can lift the hands slightly further away from the back. And then exhale as you lower the hands towards the back. And then you can bring the hands back down onto the mat again in front of the knees. On your next inhale, push the ground away with the hands as you lift the head and the chest. So you're coming to a kneeling position. Start to walk the hands forward and come up onto your knees. Bring the knees back in so they're underneath your hips. And then so you're coming into a tabletop position. So you've got the hands or the fingers wide apart onto the mat. Your hands are directly, or your wrists are directly underneath your shoulders. Have the eyes of the elbow turning forward towards the front of the mat, so you're rotating the top of the shoulder out away from the body. The knees are directly underneath the hips and the toes are flat into the floor, so not tucking the toes. And then we're just going to go through a couple of cats and cows. So just moving along the spine. I'm going to start with the tailbone. So as you're inhaling, you're lifting the tailbone up. You're then dropping the belly and the rib cage towards the ground. And then you bring the chest forward through the gateway of the arms, and at the final moment you're lifting the chest and the chin. And then into your exhale, again start from your tailbone, tuck it under. Start to round each vertebrae of the spine. As you come up to the shoulders, you're pushing the ground away to lift the shoulders as high as you can, and at the final moment you're bringing your chin onto your chest, round through the neck. Okay, so starting with the inhale, lifting the tailbone up, drop the belly down, push the chest forward, start to lift the chest and the chin. Exhaling, start to curl the tailbone under, round all the way through the spine, push the ground away, chin back onto the chest. Inhaling, start to lift that tailbone up again. Push the chest through the arms as you lift the chin. Exhaling, rounding, push the ground away, chin to chest. One more time, inhaling, lift that tailbone high, drop the belly down, push the chest to the arms, lift the chin. Last time with the exhale, curl the spine round, push the ground away, chin to the chest. And then you're coming back to a neutral spine, a flat back. Bring the left hand slightly into the centre of the mat. As you inhale, we're going to lift the right hand all the way up towards the ceiling, and you're turning the torso to your right hand side. Holding here for another big inhale, lift that hand a bit higher. And then as you exhale, start to bring this arm down, threading it through between the hand and the left knee, bringing your right shoulder down onto the ground, and then rest your ear on the floor. And then you can stretch that left arm forward towards the front of your mat. Close your eyes, just come back to focus on your breath. Lift the hips high. And then if you feel you can deepen the twist, press down into that left hand, take the right shoulder further across the mat, and then place the shoulder and the ear back down. Keep stretching that left arm forward. Take another inhale. As you exhale, pull the left hand back towards the head, and then pushing down into that left hand, release the right shoulder from the floor. Big inhale as you take the arm all the way up towards the ceiling, and then exhale as you place the right hand down on the floor. Bring the right hand into the centre of the mat. Big inhale, lifting the left arm all the way up towards the ceiling. Lift the fingers as high as you can. Turn the torso as much to your left side as you can. One more inhale as you're lifting the hand higher, and then as you exhale, threading that arm through, bringing the shoulder across the mat onto the floor, resting the ear down. And then once you've got the left shoulder in position, you can stretch that right arm out to front. Lift the hips high. And then use your exhales to find some relaxation in the position. If you want to deepen the twist, pressing down into that right hand to lift the shoulder, take the shoulder further across the mat, and then slide that right hand out again. Okay, one more inhale. As you exhale, bring the right hand back closer to the head. Big inhale as you press into the ground, sending that left arm as high as you can take it, twisting the torso to the side, and exhale as you bring the hand down onto the floor. Tucking your toes now, press the hips back, walk the hands slightly further forward and push the mat forward with your hands as you start to lift the knees off the ground, straightening the legs, lowering the heels towards the floor. Maybe widening your stance slightly by walking the feet back or taking the hands slightly further forward. Have the feet about hip distance apart. Push the mat forward with the hands as you lift the hips high, press the hips all the way back. And then start to bring some movement into your downward dog to stretch through the calf. So bend one knee at a time. Move with the breath. Start to increase the intensity of the swaying to the side so you're starting to feel the stretch along the outer edge of the thigh, over the hip and into the waist. And then coming into a still downward dog. Push that mat forward. Turn the eye of the elbow towards the front of the mat again, so you're rotating the top of the shoulders out. Lift the hips high, press them all the way back, lower the heels towards the floor. Try and keep your ears locked between the upper arms. On your next inhale, lift the head, lift the chest. Holding here as you exhale, and then as you inhale, start to walk the feet forward, lifting your hips as high as you can. Coming into a forward fold, just take a gentle bend into the knees. Take the hands behind the back, clasping the hands together, pull the shoulders back, lift the arms up towards the ceiling. And then if you can, just let the crown of the head drop towards the floor as you take the arms over the head. On your next inhale, start to send the head and the chest forward, so you're lifting the chest away from the knees and the thighs. Start to rise all the way up, lifting the hands up towards the ceiling. As you come upright, start to lower the hands back down towards the hips. Releasing the hands, taking to the side. Big inhale as you sweep the arms out to the side, take the hands all the way up over the head, bring the hands together in prayer position. And exhale as you bring them down in front of the heart, dropping your chin onto your chest, let your eyes close. On your next inhale, start to raise the arms, keeping the hands pressing towards each other. Start to lift your sternum, your breastbone away from the belly button, pull the stomach muscles in. As you exhale, separate the arms, keep your head and your chest raised and come down with a flat back, bending from the hips, bringing the hands towards the floor. Either resting the hands on the shins if you can't touch the floor. Lift the hips high, press the nose towards your shin. Take another inhale. Exhale, deepen the bend into the knees. Let the ribcage lie along the thighs. Inhale as you sweep your arms out to the side. And then lift the head and the chest, lifting the ribcage away from the thighs, but keeping the thighs, the knees bent, the hips down. Take another inhale. As you exhale, start to take the crown of the head towards the floor. Again, bring the arms back to the side of the body as you're straightening the legs. Drop the crown of the head towards the floor. Inhaling again, sweep the arms out to the sides. Start to lift the chest and the chin, rising all the way up. Taking the hands together again. Take another big inhale as you lift the chest away from the belly button. And then as you exhale, push the hips forward as you drop the arms and the head back. Inhale as you rise all the way up. Again, exhale, separating the arms. Keep the chin and the chest raised. Come down with a flat back. Bringing the hands towards the floor to the shins. Drop the crown of the head towards the floor. Take a gentle bend into those knees. Separate the arms out to the side. Big inhale, lift the chin and the chest. Just hold here. Push the feet down into the ground. Exhale, lower into your forward fold again. Straightening the legs. Dropping the crown of the head towards the floor. Bending through the knees, just very gently, sweep the arms out to the side, send the head and the chest forward as you rise all the way up. Keeping the hands directly above the shoulders this time, palms facing each other. Exhale as you push the hips forward, drop the head all the way back. Inhale as you start to rise up. Again, exhale as you start to fold forward. This time you want to bring the hands onto the floor, so bend your knees if you need. And then you're going to step one leg back at a time, starting with the right leg. Then the left leg to come into a plank. Push the ground away. Lift the knees and the thighs up. Press the heels all the way back. Take one more inhale. Then as you're exhaling, lower the knees down to the ground, but keep the knees back. Untuck the toes. Start to move your shoulders forward. As you start to bend the elbows, lift the hips high. Press the chest down to the ground and slide forward onto your belly. You're going to take the hands off the mat, reaching the hands all the way back. Pull your shoulder blades together. And then on your next inhale, lift the chin and the chest off the ground. Take one more inhale. As you're exhaling, bring the hands back down to the mat and push the hips back towards the heels. Coming into a child's pose with the arms stretched out in front. Come high onto the fingertips, lift the elbows high. Feel the stretch on the underside of the arm and into the armpit and along the outside edges of the rib cage. Take another inhale. Lift the elbows higher, and then as you exhale, just let the arms bend, let the elbows come back a little bit closer towards the head. Resting the forehead on the mat. And just take a couple of breaths. Pushing down into your hands now, lifting the head up, walk the hands forward. Come up onto the knees slightly so you can tuck your toes, send your hips all the way back again, push the mat forward. Inhale as you lift the knees off the mat, straightening the legs, exhale as you push the heels towards the floor. Use your inhale to lift the hips high, send the hips all the way back again. And then clear your mind and hold in your downward dog for 3 full breaths. If you feel that you need to release some tension, you can take the exhale out through the mouth instead of the nostrils. On your next inhale, lift the head and the chest. Create that space under the body by lifting the hips high. Walk the feet forward. Exhale as you come into your forward fold. Bend the knees slightly, sweep the arms out to the side. Big inhale as you send the head and the chest forward as you rise up. Bringing the hands together in prayer position this time. Exhale as you push the hips forward, come into your back bend. Inhale, rise all the way up. Try and create as much length through the waist as you can before exhaling. Bending from the hips, lift the chest high as you're lowering all the way down. This time we're stepping back with the left leg. So big step back with that left foot before stepping back with the right, coming into your plank. Lift the knees and the thighs high and then push the heels back. Draw the stomach muscles in towards the spine. Take another inhale and then exhale as you lower the knees, untuck the toes. Push the shoulders forward of the wrist, lift the hips high, keep the elbows tucked into the side as you slide down onto your belly. This time I'm going to clasp the hands behind the back, pull the shoulder blades back, and as you inhale, lift the chin and the chest. Start to lift your hands away from the back. Take one more inhale, and then use your exhale to transition back into your child's pose. As soon as you arrive in your child's pose, take a long stretch to come up onto your fingertips, lift the elbows high. And then use an exhale just to relax into your child's pose. Release all tension. Getting ready now to rise up into your downward dog again. So stretching those arms forward, lifting the chin and the chest. Coming up onto the knees to tuck the toes. Push the hips all the way back as you push the mat forward with the hands. Lift the hips high. Press the heels towards the floor. And create that length in the spine by lifting the hips up. Push the mat forward with the hands. And then starting to walk forward again. So a big inhale as you lift the head and the chest. Stepping the feet forward. Exhale in your forward fold. Inhale as you start to rise up. Create as much length through the spine and the torso as you can. Keeping the palms facing each other. Exhale, come into your back bend. Inhale as you rise up. Exhale as you fold forward. This time we're stepping back with the right foot to come into your plank. So right first, then the left. Straight away, exhaling, lowering the knees, then taking the chest and the chin down to the ground, sliding forward. This time we're going to keep the hands on the mat underneath the shoulders as you lift the chin, the chest and the rib cage off the ground, just pressing the pelvis into the floor, keeping the elbows into the side. Push your shoulders down away from your ears. Take another inhale, and then as you exhale, move back into your child's pose. Lift the elbows high, take a long stretch, and then exhale as you relax. Inhaling, start to move up into your downward dog. Take 2 more breaths here. Really focus on lifting the hips high, push them all the way back. Take 1 more inhale. As you exhale, lower both knees down to the ground. Stepping forward with that right foot. So you're bringing the right foot in line with the right hand, just on the inside of the right hand. You're stretching back with that left leg. And then you're letting the knee and the right foot come forward of the ankle. You can actually move the right heel back that little bit. And then you're going to sweep the arms forward and start to come all the way up. Take a big inhale, and then as you exhale, push the hips down towards the ground. On your next inhale, lift the breastbone away from the belly button, create length through the front of the body, and then as you exhale, just come into a gentle back bend. On your next inhale, start to come upright again. As you exhale, take the hands down to the mat, framing your right foot with the hands. Tuck the toe of the left foot and lift the knee off the ground. And then you're going to turn the left foot out slightly, so it's at a 45-degree angle on your mat. You're keeping the left heel in line with the left hip. And you're trying to keep the right knee either above the ankle or behind. Push your left hip forward so it's in line with the right hip. And then when you're ready, sweep the arms forward, push the feet into the ground as you rise up with the torso. Deepen the bend into that right knee. Okay, big inhale. As you exhale, push the hips forward as you drop the arms all the way back. Inhale as you rise up again. Exhaling, taking the hands down behind the back, clasp the hands, and as you inhale, pull the shoulders back, lift the arms up. Holding here for another breath. Okay, 1 more inhale, and then as you exhale, turn to face the right side, keeping the arms raised. Take another inhale, and then exhale, come back round to face the front. Inhale, lifting the hands again. And then exhale, this time you're going to turn the torso towards the left side. And as you do that, the right knee is going to start to cave in towards the left. So push your right knee out to the side. Keep lifting through those arms, pull the shoulders back. And take 1 more inhale. As you exhale, come back round to the front. If your shoulders are getting tired, just drop the hands down. You can bring the hands onto the hips. If you're enjoying the release through the shoulders, keep the arms, the hands clasped. You're going to straighten that right leg and then lift the chest up with your inhale. And then as you exhale, send the chest as far forward as you can. As you start to lower the head down towards the shin. If the hands are clasped behind, make sure you're lifting the hands up away to the ceiling. If you prefer, you can keep the hands on the hips instead. Pushing down into the ball and the heel of the foot so the toes are very light. Big inhale, lift the torso up, send it forward as you're rising. Start to take a bend into that right knee again. Big inhale as you take the arms up towards the ceiling, and then as you exhale, start to reach all the way forward. Bring the hands down onto the mat so you're framing that right foot. Swivel on your left set of toes, bring the left knee down to the ground. Bring the right knee back so it's in line with the left knee, and then step 1 leg back at a time so you're coming up into your plank. And then just take your time to work through the vinyasa sequence. So big inhale as you push the ground away. As you're exhaling, you're lowering the knees, sending the hips back, pressing the elbows into the side of the ribcage as you lower the chest down. Sweeping forward, coming into your cobra with a big inhale. Lift the chin, the chest, the belly. Use your exhale to move back into your child's pose. Deepening your breath, still keeping your mind connected to the rhythm of the breath. On your next inhale, start to come up into your downward dog. Connect the mind to the breath again. Take one more inhale, lift the hips high. As you exhale, lower the knees down to the mat. Bring that left foot forward so it's in line with that left hand. And then push your right knee back slightly so you're starting to feel a stretch along the right thigh. And untuck the toes so the toes are flattened to the floor. You can pull that left heel back slightly to let the left knee go in front of the ankle. And then when you're ready, sweep the arms forward and come up into your crescent. Take another inhale, lift the chest away from the belly button. As you exhale, push the hips down and forward. Deepen the bend in that left knee as you come into your back bend. On your next inhale, bring the body vertical again. Exhaling, bringing the hands down onto the mat. Tuck the toe of the right foot, lift the knee, and then you're turning the right foot out to that 45-degree angle. Pull the knee back slightly so it's above the left ankle or slightly behind. Start to push your right hip forward so it's in line with your left hip. And then when you're ready, sweep the arms forward, push down into the legs, into the feet as you rise up. Still pushing forward with that right hip. Take a big inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, bend the knee deeper, come into your back bend. On your next inhale, start to rise up. Exhale, taking the hands down behind the back, clasping the hands, pull the shoulders back, and on your next inhale, lift the hands up. On your next inhale, again, lengthen the spine, the torso. Exhale as you twist towards your left-hand side. Try not to let the arms come down, still lifting the hands away from the back. Take another inhale and exhale as you come to face the front. Again, inhale, lift the hands a bit higher, and this time you're opening to the right side, and don't let the left knee cave in. You're pushing the left knee across the left side of your mat as you lift the hands away. Lift the chest up. Okay, take one more inhale. As you exhale, turn back round to the front. And you can either bring the hands onto the hips or you can keep the hands clasped. You're straightening that left leg. Big inhale as you lift the chest up. As you exhale, start to stretch the chest forward. And then lowering it down, dropping the crown of the head towards the floor, bringing the nose towards the shin. If the hands are clasped, lift the hands up towards the ceiling. If your hands are on your hips, press the elbows towards each other behind the back so you feel like you're opening the chest. Lifting your toes so they're very light on the mat. Press down into the ball of the foot and the heel of the foot. Big inhale as you lift the chest, send the chest forward as you rise up. Exhaling as you're lowering the hands down to the back. Big inhale as you reach the arms up over the head. And then as you exhale, start to reach all the way forward, bring the hands down onto the mat. Swivel on your right set of toes, bring the right knee down onto the mat. Take the left knee back to meet it, and then stepping one leg back at a time, coming into your plank. Push the ground away with your inhale. As you exhale, lower the knees, lift the hips, bring the chest and the chin to the floor, slide forward. Push the shoulders back, inhale, come up into your cobra. And then exhale, move back into your child's pose. Lift the elbows high, stretch, walk the hands away from the body. Exhale, find some relaxation in the posture by bringing the elbows down to the ground. On your next inhale, lift the head, the chest. Come up onto the knees, stretch the arms forward. Take the hips back, lifting up into your downward dog. Take 2 full breaths in your downward dog. Lift the hips high with your inhale. Exhale, lower the knees to the mat. Stepping forward with that right foot. I'm going to tuck the toe of the left foot, lifting the knee, and this time I'm going to turn the foot out the way so it's perpendicular to your right foot. Bring the right foot over into the centre of the mat so the heel is in line with the arch of the foot. And then turn your hips towards the front of the mat as you stretch that left arm all the way forward. Again, make your toes very, very light in the mat so you really feel that you're pushing down into the ball of the foot. And try and push into the outer edge of your left foot, and then with your next inhale, pull the stomach muscles in as you raise the torso, lifting the arms as you go, coming into a warrior two. Have the arms out at the height of your shoulder, but be pushing the shoulders down away from the ears, deepening the bend into your right knee. And then open your hips so they're along the long side of the mat instead of facing forward. So your hips are facing this direction, not turning towards the front of the mat. The arms are level with the shoulders, and you're trying to get this right thigh as flat as you can. But if that's a little bit too strong, then just take a lesser bend into the knee. Okay, push the hips towards the side of the mat that you're facing. Lift the chest, lengthen the belly. And then turn your head to face out along the length of that right arm. Turn the right palm towards the ceiling. Big stretch through the arms as you inhale, and then as you exhale, dropping the left hand down the back of the left leg, taking the right arm all the way up towards the ceiling first, and then back over the head. And then once the arms are in position, deepen the bend into that right knee. Once there, then turn the belly up towards the ceiling. On your next inhale, start to rise back up into your warrior two. Make sure that the hips haven't turned towards the front of the mat. Open to the side. Lift the chest up. Big inhale, stretch to the arms. As you exhale, straighten your right leg, and then turn the right side set of toes towards the front of the mat. Bringing the hands down onto the hips. Start to bring the hands into the lower back. So you're giving the back a bit of support. Doing that helps lift the chest. Big inhale as you lift the chest away from the belly button. As you exhale, push the hips forward. Pull the elbows towards each other behind the back as you drop the head all the way back. Inhale as you start to rise up. Exhale, just let the arms slide down the legs, and then a big inhale as you take the arms all the way up over the head. As you exhale, start to reach forward. You're just coming into a 90-degree angle. You're not going all the way down to the floor. Push the hips back. Turn the eyes towards the ground so you've got your ears locked between the upper arms. Feel the length increasing along the spine as you push the hips back and send the arms forward. As you're inhaling, start to rise up towards the ceiling. Again, exhale, push those hips forward as you come into a back bend. Inhale as you rise up. Exhale as you fold forward again, just to the 90 degrees. Inhale as you rise all the way up. And then dropping the arms down to the side of the shoulders. Turn your right set of toes towards the front of your mat. Bending into that knee, coming back into your warrior two. Big inhale as you stretch to the arms. As you exhale, start to reach forward beyond the front of the mat. As you're lowering the right hand down to the floor. Take the left arm all the way over the top of the head. Bring it onto the mat. Swivel on those left set of toes. Lower the left knee down to the mat. Bring your right knee back to meet it, and then coming into your plank again, stepping the feet back. Exhale as you lower. Inhale as you come into your back bend. And exhale as you move back into your child's pose. Reconnect to your breath in your child's pose. Take a big stretch by walking the arms forward, and then let the arms relax with the exhale. On your next inhale, come up into your downward dog again. Take one more inhale as you lift the hips high. As you exhale, lower both knees to the mat. Bring the left foot forward to the inside of the left hand. Tuck the toe of the right foot, lift the right knee, and then turn the right foot out so it's perpendicular to your left foot. Move the left foot over to the centre of the mat. Turn the hips towards the front of your mat as you reach forward with that right hand. Make the toes very light so you're pushing the ball of the feet down to the ground. At the same time, open the inner edge of that right foot so you're really pressing the outer edge of the right foot into the mat. Big inhale as you rise all the way up. Lifting through the arms and then dropping the arms so they're level with the shoulders. Open your hips along the long side of your mat. Press the shoulders down away from the ears. Deepen the bend into that left knee. Push your hips forward slightly to lift the chest higher. And then you can turn your head to look along the length of that left arm. Turn the palm towards the ceiling. Big inhale as you stretch through the arms. Then as you exhale, dropping the right hand down the back of the right leg. Lift that left arm as high as you can before dropping it over the back of the head. And then deepen the bend into that left knee. And then once there, you can turn the belly up towards the ceiling. On your next inhale, rise back up into your warrior two. Open the hips along the long side of the mat again. Big inhale as you stretch through the arms. As you exhale, straighten the left leg. And then turn the left set of toes to face the same direction as you're looking. Big inhale as you take the arms all the way up over the head. As you exhale, start to reach forward. Come through that 90 degrees that we were before, but this time we're going all the way to the floor. Once your hands touch the floor, start to walk the hands back so the fingertips are in line with your toes. Drop the crown of the head towards the floor. Lift the hips as high as you can. Start to bring the weight into the balls of your feet. If you need to adjust the positioning or the distance of your stride, you can. You can take it wider, or you can take the legs a bit closer together. Just focus on lifting the hips as high as you can. You feel as if you're almost going to roll forward. On your next inhale, lift the head and the chest and start to walk your hands forward, stretching them out in front. This time you're bringing your weight back into the heels of the foot, so the toes and the ball of the feet are very, very light. Push the hips all the way back as you stretch the arms forward. On your next inhale, lift the head and the chest. Start to walk your hands back towards your feet and then take the hands through the legs, turn the fingers to face the other direction. So you're walking the hands back, behind, through the legs, and again bring the weight forward into the balls of your feet. Lift the hips up towards the ceiling, drop the crown of the head towards the floor. On your next inhale, start to lift the head and the chest, walking the hands back. Bring the fingertips in line with the toes. Then taking the hands off the mat, take them behind the back, clasping the hands again. And then just drop the hands over the top of the head. Pull the shoulders back. On your next inhale, start to send the head and the chest forward, raising the torso. As you exhale, push the hips forward and drop the hands down below the hips, dropping the head back. Inhale as you come upright, lifting the hands away from the back again. Exhale as you lower the arms down. Inhale as you raise the arms to the level of the shoulders. Then you're turning your left foot towards the front of your mat again, bending into that left knee. And then you're going to cartwheel the hands down to the floor. So a big inhale as you stretch the arms. As you exhale, take that left hand down to the outside of the left foot. Take the right arm all the way over the head, bring it onto the floor. Swivel on the right set of toes, lower the right knee down to the mat. Bring the left knee back to meet it. And then separate the knees wide, bring the toes together and come into a relaxing child's pose. You can bring the hands back either round to the ankles, cross the arms at the elbows and rest the forehead on the forearms, or you can leave your arms slightly stretched out in front and just have the elbows and the forearms resting on the floor. Deepening the breath, taking the exhales out through the mouth if you need to release any excess tension. And then inhaling, lifting the head and the chest. Bring the knees back in. Walk the hands further out. You take the hips back towards the heels, lift up into your downward dog. On On your next inhale, lift the head and the chin, bring your shoulders forward so you're moving forward into your plank. Exhale as you lower the knees on top of the toes. Lift the hips high as you bring the chest down to the ground and slide forward onto your belly. Keeping the hands on the floor, lift one leg at a time to stretch the legs back to increase the length of the lower back. Keep those elbows pressed into the side, press your shoulders all the way back, and a nice big inhale as you start to lift the chin, the chest, and the rib cage off the ground. Bring your focus back onto your breath. Take one more inhale, and then as you exhale, just roll the torso back down, or the belly back down onto the floor. And then we're going to come into the bow. We're going to do half bow to begin with. So stretching your left arm out in front, take hold of the right foot with the right hand. And then as you're inhaling, lift the knee off the ground, lift the thigh off the ground. Push the hand into that foot. Take another inhale, and then as you exhale, lower the thigh back down to the ground, release the hand from the foot. Stretch the right arm out to the front. Grab hold of the left foot with the left hand. Pressing down into that right hand, lift the left thigh away from the ground. Take one more inhale, and then exhale as you lower. And bringing both hands round onto the feet. Let the chin rest on the ground to begin with. And then as you're inhaling, lift both thighs off the ground. Push the top of the feet into the hands. Keep the knees together as much as you can. Lift the chest a bit higher. Take one more inhale, and then lower the legs down. Release the hands, and then push straight back into a child's pose. Rounding through the spine this time. So tuck the tailbone underneath and bring your chin back onto your chest. Push the mat forward with the hands to help round the spine. And then you can lift the chin and the chest, walk the hands back towards the knees. Drop your hips down to one side, and then release the legs out to the front. You're going to take the legs into a V. Flex the feet, so pull the toes up towards the ceiling. Push the heels away from the body, lift the chest all the way up. Big inhale as you reach the arms up over the head, and then as you exhale, start to reach as far forward as you can. Bring the hands down to the floor, or if you prefer, you can bring the hands out to hold onto the ankles of the shin. From that position, inhale, lift the chin and the chest. Try and send your chest a little bit further forward. It's not so important about how low that you lower to the ground. It's more important that you're lengthening the spine by creating some more length by moving the chest further forward. Take one more inhale as you're lifting up through that chest to lengthen the lower back, and then as you exhale, see if you can just sink a little bit deeper. Just let the forehead fall towards the ground. If you want to help through flex the feet, you can actually use your hands pulling against the toes and push the heels away. If you can't reach the feet, don't worry. Have the hands either resting on the outside of the legs or having the arms stretched further forward. Keep pulling those toes up towards the ceiling, pressing the hamstrings down into the ground. You feel that the spine starting to come round. Use your inhale to lift the chin and the chest. Send the chest forward, and then exhale, sink a bit deeper. Okay, on your next inhale, bring the arms towards the front. Stretching all the way out in front, still flexing the toes. Inhale, lift the chin and the chest. As you exhale, lift the hands off the ground and reach them forward. Really press the underside of the legs down into the ground. Pull the stomach muscles in as you inhale, come all the way up. As you exhale, take the hands down behind the back. Place the hands on the floor. And then point the toes. You're going to push the toes into the floor as you lift the hips off the ground. Drop the head all the way back. Keep lifting the hips, and then exhale as you bring the hips down. Draw the legs together. Pull the knees in towards the chest, hug round the knees, and bring the head down onto your knees. Feel the spine rounding. And then opening up on your next inhale. Stretching the legs straight out in front of you. And then lower the back down onto the ground. So I'm going to raise the arms to lift the chest, lengthen the front of the body, and then curl the spine down. Roll as slowly as you can down onto the mat. Bringing the hands onto the floor beside your hips. Toes up towards the ceiling as you push the heels away. And then pull the knees in towards your chest. And as you inhale, then push the feet up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, lower the legs down towards the ground, straight legs. Inhaling, draw the knees up and towards the chest, and then push the feet up towards the ceiling, and exhale and lower. One more time, inhaling, drawing the knees in towards the chest, pushing them up towards the ceiling, and exhale and lower. As your heels touch the ground, just let the body relax for the moment. Bring your chin a bit closer to your chest. And then start to bring your hands underneath your coccyx bones, so not underneath the sacrum, have them further down. Elbows are slightly bent out to the side, pressing the elbows into the floor. Don't worry too much about the breath on this one, just more listen to the instruction of the position. So you're going to bring the chin into your chest, lifting the head off the ground. Press your elbows down into the ground so you're lifting the back off the floor. So the back, the torso is now at about a 20 degrees angle to the ground. Then from there, start to arch the back, lift the chest up towards the ceiling, or the rib cage up towards the ceiling. And then you're bending back with the head, taking the crown of the head onto the floor. So coming into fish posture. You can either have the feet flexed or just having the ankles floppy. Just focus on arching through the back, lifting the rib cage as high as you can, opening the front of the neck towards the ceiling. Taking another 2 breaths here. On your next inhale, lift the head off the ground, tuck the chin in towards the chest, press the elbows into the ground, and then as you exhale, just start to lower the back down onto the mat, releasing the hands from underneath, and then hug the knees in towards the chest, and just have a little rock from side to side. And then you can place one foot down on the floor at a time, really pushing the lower back down into the ground. Just allow the legs to slide out again, one at a time, to maintain that connection of the lower back into the floor. Let the legs separate a little bit, let the ankles go floppy. And then either resting the hands on the belly with the elbows on the floor, or taking the arms away from the body with the palms facing up. Whichever position that you have, the hands push the shoulders down away from the ears, and then dip the chin close to the chest and lengthen through the back of the neck. And then just try and release tension from the body through your breath. Maybe taking a couple of exhales out through the mouth as you feel the body relax and sink down into the mat. Go through the body scan to make sure that all your joints are lying in comfortable positions, your muscles aren't holding on to any tension. So start from the tips of your toes, right through the arch of the foot, into the ankle. Just bringing slight movement into any area that feels slightly uncomfortable. And then it relax in a more comfortable position. If there's tension in a muscle, clench that muscle and release it a few times. Use the turning of the head from side to side to release tension from the neck. And then to release tension from the face, you can screw the face up tight like a prune, give it a really good squeeze. Stretch it as wide as you can, open the eyes and the mouth as wide as they go, stick the tongue out into the chin. And then scrunch the face tight again, stretch it wide. Do that a few times if there's still tension in the face. But once that's released, just let the eyes close, start to feel the body sinking down into the ground again. Bring your focus back onto your breath. Feel the rise and the fall of the belly. Feel the lungs filling with the inhale. Feel the energy entering the body with the inhale. Feel the body sinking down with the exhale, tension releasing. Keep the breath deep. Start to slow your breath down. Use this slower, longer breath to relax the body and the mind. Feel a sense of lightness and energy entering the body with every inhale. Feel that you're slipping down into a deeper relaxation to the release of tension with the exhale. Take another few breaths where the breath is deep, using almost the full capacity of the lungs as you draw the breath in. Following the breath with the mind. And then after those few breaths, you can start to let the breath become more shallow. Each breath you take is slightly less deep than the last. And even though you might be at a point where the breath is now so shallow that you're not controlling it, still observe the breath as it moves in and out of the body. Start to bring your awareness back into the physical body again. And when you feel ready, you can start to introduce some very gentle movement. Maybe starting with the fingers and the toes, and then allowing the movement to build into other areas of the body. It's very gentle, subtle movement. When you feel ready, you can take a long stretch. So take the arms up over the head onto the floor behind you, bring the legs together. Big inhale as you reach the fingers as far away from the toes, and then as you release the stretch, take a big exhale out through the mouth. You can have a sigh or a yawn if you like. And then take another couple of stretches, so you're inhaling as you're stretching and exhaling out through the mouth as you release the stretch. Once you've done stretching, hug the knees into the chest. Rock from side to side, feel the benefit of massaging the spine into the ground. And then when you feel ready, roll over onto your left side. Just laying there in a fetal position for as long as you like. If you feel that you need to rest longer, you can stay here for a good few minutes. If you feel that you're ready to sit up, just take a few deeper breaths to bring some more energy into the body before rising up very, very gently. Taking a moment to sit. And then when you're ready, again, you can just move very, very gently into a standing position.